Fiona, I'm Ezra Levant from Rebel News. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Fiona Kennedy. I'm a very ordinary mother. Um, I live here locally in Dundrum, and I'm here with a group of people. We're the most ordinary people that you could possibly meet. We find ourselves in an extraordinary situation, and really we're standing to protect our hotel, our beautiful hotel here, Dundrum House Hotel, our golf club, and our community.
Now, I had never heard of Dundrum until yesterday. I looked it up and it only has about 200 people. And I understand that this facility, this gorgeous, beautiful hotel and country club, could theoretically sleep up to 500 people. What do you know about the contract that the owner of this facility has to house asylum seekers and refugees? What information do you have?
Well, unfortunately, we've very little information. Now, we have submitted a request for information under the Freedom of Information Act. I'm not sure if the time on that is up, but we've had no information back yet. We would like to get sight of the contract, but nobody's forthcoming on that.
And has the owner of the hotel been communicative at all?
Not in the slightest. No, he hasn't. He hasn't engaged with us at all.
And what is the government entity that's involved? Is it just the national government or are there any local governments involved?
Well, really, this has been driven by national government, the Department of Integration, and we do have local government here in Tipperary in Ireland as well. We have some local councillors who are working on our behalf, working with us. We have one local Tipperary TD member of our parliament, just to translate it to Canadian, uh, and here is actually the owner is just about to pass. The owner is just passing.
I'll have to go and talk to him. What's his name?
His name is Jeff Leo. Yeah.
And I understand he's from away. Is that right?
Yeah, I understand he's American. I've actually never met Jeff. So that's my first time seeing him that hasn't been a photograph.
He certainly sped by.
Yeah,
He hasn't had any community town halls. He hasn't sat. Has he sat down with the media at all?
not to my knowledge, he hasn't.
I'm guessing you would know.
We would know. And he hasn't engaged with the community at all. We've had two public meetings, both very heavily attended. And
Did he send anyone to those?
no, he didn't. He
I
was
find that astonishing.
Yeah, he was invited to
How,
attend.
how was he invited? By email, by letter?
I'm not sure because I wasn't involved.
He must have known about it. I mean, he's the center of this whole project.
Oh, 100% he knew about it, but he didn't come. But yeah, the only time we see him actually is when he's speeding in or out of the gates.
Yeah, he certainly came by quite quickly. So right now, in this facility, I understand. In fact, I saw with my own eyes there are some Ukrainians. Can you tell me about who's here now?
The exact numbers we're not sure of. There was an initial contract in place to house, we understand, in the region of 270 Ukrainians. And those people, they were welcomed into the village with open arms.
Is that men and women and kids? Like, were they families, or were they just military age men?
No, there were family groups, and they were welcomed into the area. The children are going to school locally. People are working in the community, and they are very supportive of what we are trying to do here. They now are being, I mentioned the contract. It was a temporary accommodation contract that was entered into to house Ukrainians who were fleeing from war. And but that situation, that was fine because that was always going to be a temporary arrangement. But now we have a situation where there's going to be a rolling contract to provide accommodation for IPAs.
I heard that the Ukrainians are being evicted. Is that true?
Yeah, we understand that they have been told that they need to be out. The information we were given is by the second week in August. Now we can't speak to the accuracy of any of those reports because we're skeptical of everything we hear, because we don't know if somebody's saying, oh, to give us a false sense of security that nothing is going to happen here until the second week in August. We are behaving every day as if an arrival of IPAs is imminent.
IPA is what you call a
National protection applicants.
So we would call that refugee claimants in Canada.
Yeah, well, here the Ukrainians would be deemed refugees in that they were fleeing a war situation in their country. But the asylum seekers, it's a different. That's where they fall under international protection applicants.
Now, where would the proposed IPAs or asylum seekers, where would they be coming from?
Look, we don't know because we don't know anything. We're not being told anything. We're hearing, of course, reports from different parts of the country about they're coming from here, there, everywhere. We don't really want to speak to that because we don't know. And I just want to be really, really clear. For us, this is not a race issue at all. For us, this is a services issue. You mentioned there the population of Dundrum. In the last census, I understand the population of the village is 221 people. There's a bed capacity inside these gates for in around 550 people. And that alone doubles the population of the village. And if you take into account the fact that every person in there can apply under the family reunification option that's open to them to have 6 more family members come and join them here in their new lives in Ireland, the 550 people there could turn into 3,000 people very, very quickly. And it's overwhelming. We've got one doctor in the village. He has said he won't be taking anybody on. He doesn't have the capacity. I understand there was a doctor in a neighbouring town. He was providing care to the Ukrainians. He said that when the IPAs come in, he's not taking it. He doesn't have the capacity. The schools are under pressure. Everything is under pressure here. And we just really want our hotel back, to be honest with you. We're a very compassionate people. The Irish people are very compassionate people. But we feel that our compassion and our generosity is being taken advantage of by a government who are not enforcing our immigration laws to begin with. How are people getting on a plane with documents and then managing to come through with no documents? It's a farce. It's an absolute joke. And that's the first thing, in my opinion, that should be addressed. If somebody gets off a plane, you cannot get on without documents. If somebody gets off a plane without documents, they should be immediately sent back to the country from where they came. That's my opinion.
You mentioned your local TD, or what we would call a local MP,
Yes.
member of parliament, is supportive. I'm going to challenge you on that. I haven't heard a single member of the Irish Parliament speak out against that. Is he supportive when he's just speaking in whispers with you, or is he supportive publicly?
No, you can challenge away, Ezra. The man I'm talking about is Matty McGrath, and he is a TD here in Tipperary. And he has not only has he been to the gates here several times, he has stood up in the Dáil, our Irish Parliament, and he has challenged the government.
Okay, fair play.
Spoken out.
Okay, good to hear it.
He is
And what party is he with?
He's an independent.
Well, that's why, isn't it?
Why?
Isn't that? And was he elected as an independent?
Elected as an independent.
Well, that's a recommendation for independence, isn't it?
Can I just say the ridicule that he faces? Matty is a country person, like we're all ordinary country people. He has a country accent. People ridicule him, they make fun of him, but he is a man of the utmost integrity, and he is probably the only person that we currently have who has the courage to speak out. And there is a local councillor as well, Liam Brown, and he is a man of courage also. He is standing with us and he is fighting for us. So we're very lucky to have both of those. But as far as we're concerned, the rest of them have sold us out. Now, if there is work going on in the background that they're not prepared to speak of, I'm an eternal optimist. I would hope for that, but we have seen nothing.